Come on, little violin maid. Make those strings squeal like you chase tips. The billionaire snarls, crystal glass poised for a toast. Laughter ricochets off marble as onlookers film, eager for her to crack. Bow trembling in her grip, the waitress lowers her gaze and draws the first shiver-sharp note that will silence every cruel grin. Thunder rolls across the glass roof of the Corinthian, just as champagne fizz erupts into laughter. White lights from the skyline slant across linen, crystal, and a single polished violin case lying on its side like an unspoken dare. Play something, coffee girl. Or does that apron mean your only skill is bussing plates? Russell Wyatt's words glide across the rooftop like oil on water. Slick, heavy, impossible to wash away. Phones rise instantly. Thumbnails of his smirk bounce to a live stream audience addicted to malice. Wyatt's hedge fund friends grin, collars gleaming. Kendra Lewis, younger than most patrons, older than their scorn, freezes with a tray balanced against her hip. 5 wine glasses tremble. The violin case belongs to the lobby musician on break, but Wyatt caught sight of the tiny silver violin charm on Kendra's bracelet and pounced like a shark smelling copper. Come on, he croons louder, beckoning diners to enjoy the spectacle. You said you used to play. Let's hear the discount store prodigy. A ripple of anticipatory giggles passes through the linen-draped tables. Someone in a sequin gown whispers, "This will be brutal," while hitting "Go Live." Kendra's boss hovers near the bar, fear etched into every wrinkle of his face. Tips from billionaires keep lights on. Confrontation keeps them off. He gives Kendra a microscopic shake of the head. Don't ruin this. Her pulse counts out the 4 mortgage notices awaiting her in a kitchen drawer. Past due stamps throb behind her eyes. She inhales, catching the faint resin scent wafting from the violin case. Instant childhood flash. Soft-lit living room. Her mother's hands guiding a bow across scratched strings, whispering, "Music is the only language fear can't translate." Wyatt drags the case across the table, pops the latch, and plucks out a glossy, caramel-colored instrument like a hunter brandishing fresh kill. If you squeak, no tip. If you refuse, he looks to his friends, then back at Kendra. You'll be bussing sidewalk gum by morning. Laughter spikes. Comments flash across floating phone screens, and serve and strum make her dance. Kendra sets the tray down, fingers tingling. She doesn't look at Wyatt. She looks at the city lights. Tiny constellations of people whose hearts might need one honest melody tonight. She remembers the eviction officer's knock 3 months after her mother's funeral. The dusty pawn shop where her own violin disappeared for rent money. Music left her life the way daylight slips beneath a shutting door. 5 minutes, Wyatt calls, waving his Rolex at the cameras. We're timing you. Kendra steps forward. The violin's weight shocks her. Lighter than fear, heavier than memory. She shoulders it clumsily. Giggles swell. The bow feels alien, like holding a stranger's hand. She draws the first note. It scratches the rooftop, quiet like a rusted hinge. Wyatt smirks and raises his champagne in mocking salute. Brilliant. Try tuning first, basement Mozart. Snickers ripple outward. Someone fake applauds. 2 diners near the edge whisper bets on how fast she'll quit. The live stream counter ticks. Thousands watching a train wreck. But the scrape shakes loose a buried reflex. Kendra rolls her shoulders, closes her eyes, and finds breath exactly where her mother taught her. Deep, diaphragm anchored. Exhale on the up bow. She begins again, this time a single D, warm and sure. Conversations falter. The second note joins, a mournful 5th that hangs in the humid summer air. She lets the bow settle into legato phrases, an old spiritual her mother arranged for solo violin. Vibrato blooms slow, tender. Waitstaff pause mid-pour, goosebumps pricking arms. City traffic, 4 stories below, softens to a hush beneath the glass roof, as if Manhattan itself leans in to listen. Wyatt's grin freezes. He tries a dismissive chuckle, but no one joins. A tear slides down the cheek of the woman in sequins. She lowers her phone, guarding the moment from algorithmic noise. Kendra's left hand climbs the fingerboard, pouring grief and love into every shift. She forgets about live stream counts, rent, or Wyatt's silk-wrapped jeers. The rooftop transforms into a cathedral with no walls. The skyline now a stained glass testament to second chances. She ends on a high harmonic that lingers like starlight, bow hovering midair. Silence answers, thick, reverent, electric. Then applause detonates. Diners rise by instinct, silverware clattering in forgotten plates. Livestream hearts flood red. Commenters type, replay, 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 faster than auto-scroll can keep up. Wyatt's champagne flute slips, shattering against the tile. He flinches as shards mirror city lights. His reflection fractured, the narrative spun out of his hands. For the first time all night he looks small, a man hearing truth and not liking the way it names him. Kendra lowers the violin, chest heaving. Tears threaten, but she holds them back. This isn't triumph yet. It's the faint bell of a distant train announcing the track ahead. A gray-haired diner at table 9 speaks through tears. "What's your name, dear?" Kendra clears her throat. "Kendra Lewis." Table 9 begins the chant. "Kendra! Kendra!" Others join. Waiters clap. A rooftop full of strangers chanting a waitress's name breaks open the night. Wyatt forces a brittle laugh, eyebrows knotted. "Fun little trick," he mutters, scrambling for a salvaging joke, but nobody's filming him anymore. All lenses aim at Kendra, who stands more steady than the skyscrapers beyond. Down on the sidewalk, a passerby hears music echo through the open terrace windows, raises a phone and asks, "Who's playing up there?" Someone replies, "A girl the world just met." Within minutes, the clip circles social feeds, tag number sign, Violin Waitress. Lightning flickers in the distance, storm rolling over the Hudson. But inside the Corinthian, another kind of storm has already shifted the air. Wyatt can feel it. The moment control slipped, the instant an apron-clad pawn advanced to the board's center. And Kendra? She turns the instrument in her hands, feeling its resonance settle in her bones like a heartbeat she thought she'd lost forever. The night's true game has only just begun. Kendra barely steps off the Corinthians' rooftop before the first reporter lunges. Camera lights flare like lightning trapped in glass. She shields her eyes, a microphone jabs close. "Was the performance staged? Did you plan to embarrass Mr. Wyatt?" Security sweeps her through the service corridor, but the questions echo. Who taught you? Do you have representation? What's it feel like to humble a billionaire? Downstairs in the employee locker room, fluorescent bulbs hum overhead. Her manager paces, wringing a bar rag. "Kendra, whatever happens, you didn't break policy. But," he swallows, "Wyatt's money keeps 40% of this place running. Legal just called. They fear retaliation." Kendra exhales shakily, unclipping her apron. The violin, still warm from applause, rests on a folding chair like evidence. She promises to return it and slips out the back door, hoodie pulled low. Even at midnight, her phone blazes. Violin Waitress climbs trending charts, 400K tweets in 40 minutes. The rooftop clip, reposted with slow-motion close-ups of Wyatt's jaw dropping, hits 3 million views before she reaches the subway. One creator overlays captions, "When talent checks privilege." Comments race, "Give her Juilliard. Currently, someone get this queen a record deal." She smiles, then winces. Mixed notifications show DM requests from talent scouts and debt collectors alike. Reality hasn't forgotten her address. Across town, Russell Wyatt slams a crystal decanter into his penthouse bar. Whiskey arcs, shatters. "Viral for what?" he snarls at his PR advisor on speakerphone. "Fix it. Spin it. I don't care if you hire Mozart's ghost." The advisor stammers. "Sir, the optics are challenging. Social sentiment is 94% negative. Sponsors are..." Wyatt kills the call. Fury simmering under a brittle grin, he rehearses in the mirror. Just an amusing stunt. All in good fun. But the crack in his reflection widens. By dawn, local morning shows loop the performance next to side-by-side photos. Wyatt scowling, Kendra glowing beneath the string lights. Headlines punch. Waitress shreds violin, billionaire eats crow. A talk show producer emails her via diner contact form. "Fly to LA tonight, perform live tomorrow." Kendra wraps herself in a thrift store coat and heads for the train, ignoring paparazzi parked outside her apartment. Jordan, her neighbor's teen son she occasionally tutors, jogs beside her filming vertical clips for TikTok. Look, you went mega viral. They want you on Good Morning America. She shakes her head, heart racing. I still have a shift at noon. But I need the paycheck. Jordan frowns but keeps filming as they duck into the station. On the platform, she watches the viral clip, this time with captions, Ben Little Pawn. Wyatt's taunt scrolls below, then her first shaky D note, then the soaring adagio. Comment hearts rain. She closes the app. Two unread texts from the bank flash. Foreclosure proceedings resume next Friday. The applause ringing in her ears collides with the ticking of deadlines. She shows up for work anyway. The lobby is crawling with journalists. Management tries to funnel diners through side doors. Waitstaff cheer quietly when she punches in. Legend, someone mouths. Mid-shift, the house violinist approaches, a gentle-eyed Filipino man named Arturo. He presses a velvet-lined case into her hands. I saw the video. Take this, my spare. Play her throat tightens. I can't afford. Borrow. Return when you headline Carnegie. He winks and disappears to his post. She tucks the case in her locker, pulse fluttering. The world is offering pieces. She just has to choose the ones worth keeping. A sudden hush ripples through the dining room. Wyatt strides in, alone, eyes bloodshot. Diners stiffen, phones tilt up. He takes an empty table, orders espresso, stares holes into Kendra as she refills water nearby. When she passes, he murmurs, cute stunt. Enjoy it, the internet forgets. She meets his gaze, voice steady. But music remembers. He smirks. We'll see. He taps his phone, tweeting a clipped apology. Last night was impromptu, no disrespect intended. Comments roast him alive, but he hits send anyway. Damage Control 101. Kendra retreats to the service station, hands trembling. A text pings from an unknown number. Don't trust quick fame. Call me. Attached is the name Evelyn St. Clair, legendary maestro turned recluse. Eyes widen. Is this real? She types back. How did you get my number? 3 dots appear, then disappear. No reply. Evening news. Wyatt's hedge fund drops 2% after viral fiasco. Sponsors evaluate relationship. Analysts debate whether one act of hubris can dethrone a mogul. Wyatt releases a slick video. Black turtleneck, soft lighting, claiming mutual fun with staff. Comment section floods with violin emojis and clown gifs. That same hour, Kendra's inbox fills with offers. Live wedding sets, cruise ship contracts, Instagram collabs. None cover her mortgage. One stands out. Midtown Philharmonic invites her to audition tomorrow, citing remarkable natural expression. She exhales. An audition means missing her diner shift, risking termination. At 11 p.m., she stares at Arturo's loner violin on her couch. Fingers brush the strings. A single G note hums in the apartment's hush. She thinks of her mother tapping pizzicato on a cupboard door, urging rhythm into a shy girl's heart. She closes her eyes, lets the notes swell into the living room's corners, filling space once held by worry. Across the city, Wyatt scrolls hateful memes, knuckles white. He calls his PR head. Find dirt on her, any dirt. The night answers with 2 parallel sounds. A billionaire's desperate keystrokes and a waitress's quiet vibrato, weaving through cracked paint and duct-taped windows. Her own kind of armor. And somewhere in between, a maestro waits for a phone to ring. Sunlight knifes through the blinds, carving pale bars across Kendra's cramped living room floor. The borrowed violin lies in its open case like a dare, strings glinting. Her alarm buzzes 5:30 a.m., but she's already awake, heart rattling with a choice she has no time to overthink. Diner shift or Midtown Philharmonic audition. Mortgage notices leer from the coffee table. She pulls one close, flips it face down, and exhales. The city outside hums. Trash trucks, brake squeals, but inside every second is a metronome counting down to 10 a.m. audition call. She texts her manager. Family emergency. Can't make shift. 3 dots then. Understood. We'll talk. Fired, she whispers to the walls. grabs the violin, and runs. The Midtown Philharmonic Hall rises like marble destiny, banners fluttering with press photos of virtuosos who seem carved from Olympus. Kendra swallows hard, clutching Arturo's case as if it might vanish. Inside, rows of hopefuls warm up, arpeggios flitting like nervous birds, designer instrument cases, manicured fingernails, conservatory logos stitched on jackets. She stands out in thrift store best, black slacks, white blouse ironed 8 times to mask age. A clipboard attendant calls numbers. Kendra is 37. 2 walk out shaking heads. Panel's brutal today. One bursts into tears. Her stomach knots. Phone vibrates. Jordan live streams from outside the hall. "You got this," comments Poor. "Play your heart." "Silence that panel." She forces a smile, pockets the phone. 37, the attendant snaps. Stage lights blind as she steps onto the riser. Behind a perforated screen sit 3 judges. Anonymity protocol can't hide the rustle of notes or the sharp whisper. "Is this the viral waitress?" Kendra sets her feet, draws a breath her mother called anchoring the soul, and begins Bach's Chaconne. Bold choice, 20 minutes condensed to 5. Grief and triumph braided in every passage. First notes tremble, then steady until the hall itself seems to breathe with her. Midway, the screen can't conceal a hush. One judge leaning forward, another drops a pen. She pours every eviction notice, every 3 a.m. dish shift, every jeer from Wyatt into double stops that ring like cathedral bells. The final chord hangs, dissolves into stunned silence. "Thank you," a voice manages. She nods, legs wobbling, and exits. Backstage, candidates murmur. Someone asks for a selfie, another says, "Your vibrato, wow." Kendra blinks. Respect feels foreign as silk. Clipboard attendant appears. "Panel would like to speak with you." Terror spikes. Did she violate rule? Use wrong cut? Inside a small lounge, the panel stands, screen gone. At center is Maestro Evelyn Street. Claire, silver hair, urgent eyes. Kendra gasps. The reclusive legend rarely leaves her Hudson estate. St. Clair steps forward. "I texted you. You didn't call." She smiles. "No matter. Your sound answered." She hands Kendra a card embossed with gold clef. "Private scholarship. Full season apprenticeship. We start tonight." Kendra's mind stutters. "But my job, my rent." "Talent won't wait for rent," St. Clair says softly. "But opportunities can handle both. We'll discuss stipend." Tears threaten. Kendra presses fingertips to eyelids, nods. Outside, reporters swarm. Someone shouts, "Maestro, is this a publicity stunt?" St. Clair shields Kendra with a firm arm. "It's music, that's all." Across town, Wyatt sits in a dim studio, filming an exclusive interview. He polished a new narrative. Misunderstood philanthropist, admirer of hidden talent. Scripted humility glitters like fool's gold. But his PR head bursts in mid-take, tablet shaking. "Sir, Midtown Philharmonic just offered her an apprenticeship. Your apology video is trending under hashtag tone-deaf Wyatt's jaw pulses." Then we pivot. Offer sponsorship, make her grateful. The PR head hesitates. "SEC subpoena arrived. They're examining our social media spend. Those bot farms..." Wyatt's patience snaps. "Handle it." Kendra rides uptown to the diner to collect her last paycheck. She expects cold shoulders. Instead, co-workers break into applause. Maria, the frazzled owner, hugs her. "Go chase that dream. We'll brag forever." Arturo appears, slips something into her hand. His original bow, upgraded frog gleaming. "You'll need better gear." Emotion swells, words fail. She promises to return everything, but he waves it off. As she leaves, a sleek car glides curbside, Wyatt's driver. Window lowers, Wyatt inside, sunglasses hiding sleepless eyes. "Congratulations," he drawls. "Let's make amends. A patronage, $1 million for your education fund, if you acknowledge my role in your discovery." Traffic noise dulls. His offer hangs like poison honey. Kendra steadies breath. "You want to thank you for humiliation?" He smiles thinly. "Marketing is about stories. Let's control ours." She remembers Maestro's card, the clipboard attendant's stunned face, the silence after Bach. She grips Arturo's bow. "The story's already true. No edit required. She turns away. Wyatt's voice follows, low and venomous. Reject me and you'll drown in legal fees before you play a single note. She pauses, heart hammering, then hears her mother's words. Music is the only language fear can't translate. Without looking back, she steps into the crosswalk, violin case knocking against her knee like a metronome set to courage. That night, St. Clair's townhouse studio smells of rosin and mahogany. Candle-soft lamps halo the maestro as she guides Kendra through Paganini runs, correcting posture, sharpening intonation. Hours fly, sweat beads, confidence blooms. After the final double stop screams perfect, St. Clair beams. Tomorrow we rehearse your own composition for televised charity concert. Kendra's breath catches. My composition? Yes. The world craves your voice, not your resume. She hands over manuscript paper. Write what only you can say. Kendra walks home under city lights, violin case light despite fatigue, blank staff, paper fluttering like wings. The night air rings, not with cars or sirens, but with possibilities humming at the edge of hearing. Across the river, Wyatt stares at market tickers bleeding red, email inbox flooding with investor panic. He grips his shattered decanter's replacement, knuckles white. The screen replays Kendra exiting his car, refusal immortalized. He whispers, not over. But somewhere above Wall Street noise, a single unseen note drifts clear and unwavering. The phone call comes at 6 a.m., a hollow voice claiming to be Kendra's bank. Ms. Lewis, your mortgage has been escalated. Full balance due in 7 days. Her stomach knots. I have a payment plan. New documentation overrides it. The line clicks dead before she can protest. Half awake, she scrolls news feeds and feels blood drain. A glossy blog headline sits atop every aggregator. Bach or backtrack? Viral waitress exposed for lip-syncing iconic chacon. Embedded is her audition video. Only the audio track is a pristine studio recording from a European virtuoso, not the raw hall feed. Side-by-side waveforms prove she faked it. Comments snarl, grift queen, nah, industry plant. No way a diner girl plays like that. By 8 o'clock, Midtown Philharmonic's board suspends her apprenticeship pending authenticity inquiry. They must, they say, protect institutional integrity. Evelyn Street Claire's text pings, damage is surgical. I will counter, but tread carefully. Kendra's palms sweat. Wyatt's threat echoes. Drown in legal fees before a single note. She senses his signature in every headline font. A knock. She opens the door to find two uniformed couriers delivering thick envelopes, cease and desist notices, defamation warnings, each with Wyatt Holdings letterhead. Music blogs that repost her rooftop clip receive identical threats. Remove content or face litigation. Jordan charges in, live stream rig abandoned. They're nuking your name, hashtags flipping to # violin fraud. He shows her a trending TikTok, split screen experts, analyzing her bow speed versus audio lag, all faked, all persuasive. She bites her lip until copper floods the tongue. Phone buzzes again, unknown number. She answers. You were warned, Wyatt murmurs, voice silk over shards. Accept the sponsorship, and I bury this. Her chest tightens. Rent, foreclosure, apprenticeship, all hanging by digital threads. She almost says fine, almost, then recalls her mother's cracked spine music notebook, every margin scribbled with play honest. I won't trade truth for silence, she says and ends the call. St. Clair's townhouse that afternoon feels different. Blinds drawn, staff whispered. The maestro paces, newspaper strewn. Wyatt's PR engine feeds on speed. We respond with proof. Kendra's hands shake. They own the headlines. My bank. Maybe the Philharmonic. St. Clair's gaze burns. Not the music. She sets a dusty reel-to-reel on the piano. We live record you tonight. Single take, 6 cameras, no edits. We'll stream it, open source. Truth at 24 frames per second, Kendra swallows. If I botch one shift, we keep rolling. Vulnerability is bulletproof. Night. A candlelit salon, camera rigs humming. Journalists, skeptics, even rival violinists crowd in. The maestro's invitation had read, "See for yourself." Live stream counters tick upward. 20,000. 30. Doubters flood chat ready to pounce. Kendra steps into the circle, sweat beading her brow. No screens, no acoustical sweeteners, just room tone and breathing lungs. She lifts Arturo's bow and begins the very chaconne they said she faked. First bars tremble but hold. 7 measures in, the tremor melts into muscle memory. Double stops sing, trills flash. The infamous bariolage passage spills like silver rain. Skeptic chat slows. Heart emojis creep in. Camera 2 zooms tight on shifting fingers. Audio feed shows no latency. Mid-movement, a string phrase. She feels it snap beneath index finger. Gasps ripple. She pivots, executes an emergency fingering her mother once drilled for broken strings. The note lands pure. Gasps become cheers. 20 minutes later, the final chord decays. Room erupts. St. Clair steps forward, lifts Kendra's arm. "Gentlemen, there is your authenticity." Livestream chat detonates. Unedited Queen launches upward, eclipsing the smear tag in under an hour. Within minutes, fact-checking blogs trace the doctored audition clip to an IP block owned by Lysander Media, the very PR firm Wyatt used after the diner incident. Screenshots plaster Twitter, headlines flip, fraud claim a fraud. Sponsors who froze her deal thaw instantly. Midtown Philharmonic issues an apology. But the war isn't over. Wyatt appears on a late-night business channel, eyes glassy. "Technical teams misattributed audio. I had no knowledge." Host presses. His answers stutter. Stock tickers for Wyatt Holdings slip another 2%. Still, foreclosure clock ticks. Kendra checks her bank app. Mortgage flagged, accelerated. She needs cash fast. Concert fees are weeks away. She debates crowdfunding, then remembers Maria at the diner. Pride wars with necessity. She swipes open a new message but hesitates. Jordan barges in, waving tablet. "Look!" On his screen, a viral post from a Grammy-winning producer. "Violin Waitress, DM me. I'll buy front row charity tickets at $100,000 a seat if she headlines." Hundreds of executives comment same. St. Clair nods, calculating. "We stage a benefit in 72 hours. Proceeds erase the lien, fund youth programs, and tie your name to philanthropy louder than Wyatt's threats." Kendra exhales, equal parts relief and terror. 72 hours? The maestro smiles. Artists thrive on impossible deadlines. Across town, Wyatt watches number unedited Queen trend. He hurls his phone. It fractures like his strategy. SEC subpoenas deepen. Advisory texts from lawyers. Settle. He rubs temples, mind racing. Then a new thought crystallizes. If public redemption won't work, private sabotage must. He dials a fixer. "I want her distracted. Find the house she's fighting to save. Make sure inspectors deem it unlivable. Push foreclosure to immediate auction. Pause. And make her maestro reconsider championing a liability." The fixer's reply is a single chilling word. Understood. Midnight. Kendra stands alone on her porch. Paint peeling, foreclosure notice fluttering. She imagines for sale signs sprouting like weeds. She lifts the violin, plays a quiet lullaby, notes drifting up to a bruised moon, each one a vow that every attack will only sharpen her tone. Inside, eviction shadows grow, but downstairs a stack of blank sheet music waits, her composition unfinished. She sits, candles guttering, and writes into the night. Melodies that twist pain into resolve, grief into brass, fear into soaring harmonics. Outside, unmarked sedans idle down the block, photographing, cataloging. The fixer sends Wyatt grainy shots of cracked gutters, mold-dark sills. Wyatt's thumbs hover over the images, smug. But in the soft glow of her lamp, Kendra adds a final instruction to the score. Cress until impossible to ignore. The page blazes white, the ink dries. And somewhere just beyond hearing, tomorrow's ovation has already begun. The sun hasn't even burned the fog off Manhattan when Maestro Evelyn St. Clair turns her rehearsal loft into a war room. Whiteboards sprout everywhere. Venue options, sponsor pledges, a clock counting down 72 hours. Kendra, bleary-eyed but steady, paces with a phone pressed to her ear. Madison Playhouse confirmed, she tells St. Clair. 1,700 seats. We live stream the rest. Good, the maestro nods, scribbling tempos. Program order? Bach, then the rooftop spiritual, then my new piece, Second Shift, as finale. That title alone sells tickets, St. Clair grins. Now sell the house out. Jordan mans a laptop in the corner, tapping out tweet after tweet. 100,000 seats going fast. Not sure, strings for hope. A donation ticker on the big screen flips like airport departures. 50, 90, 130,000 in the first hour. It's working. Until a buzz on Kendra's cell, unknown number. This is city code enforcement, a clip voice says. Your residence has been deemed uninhabitable. Mold, structural damage. You must vacate immediately. Kendra's lungs seize. That inspection wasn't scheduled. Emergency protocol, the voice drones. Notice posted. Click. She drops the phone. They're condemning my house. An hour later, she sprints through uptown streets, violin case banging her thigh. Two uniformed inspectors stand on her porch, stapling a neon orange unsafe to occupy sign over the foreclosure notice. A photographer lurks at the curb, snapping away. Kendra gasps. Wait! That mold was remediated last year. One inspector shrugs. Anonymous complaint. We found fresh samples. She steps inside. Chemical stink hits her. New spores splatter the basement wall like dark paint still dripping. Someone planted it. Out front, a sleek sedan idles. Through tinted glass, she glimpses Wyatt's fixer. Gray suit, shark eyes, checking his watch. Rage ignites, bright and clean. Ma'am, you have 24 hours to clear belongings, the inspector warns. Neighbors gather. Old Mrs. Hawthorne, who once brought casseroles after Kendra's mother died, marches up. This house kept its grade for 40 years. We'll contest. A younger neighbor streams live. They're bullying the violin girls home. Comments spark. Hirashir hands off our harmony. Kendra thanks them, voice shaking, but she knows the city machine can grind compassion to dust. She grabs her mom's photo album. Jordan stuffs scores into boxes. A single cracked violin bridge falls to the floor. They leave nothing behind. Back at the loft, time bleeds away. 58-17-42 on the countdown. Sponsors ping St. Clair. We're nervous about scandal. Ticket sales plateau. Stress thickens the air. Kendra forces focus, bows scales until fingers numb, then rewrites the coda of Second Shift. She injects a jagged glissando that screams eviction, then slides into a fragile pianissimo that feels like hope pressed thin. St. Clair studies the page. Use that anger. Let the audience hear the locks click. But the maestro carries her own weight. A Wyatt lawyer corners her with veiled threats. Withdraw your support, maestro, or our client will release emails painting you as opportunistic. She arches an eyebrow. Release away. Scandal sells tickets. The lawyer blanches. She walks off, spine straight as a bow stick. Night rehearsal. String quartet lays down the spiritual groove. Brass section slips in like dawn light. Kendra steps forward for the solo, exhaustion tremoring her bow arm. She closes her eyes, plays anyway. First note cracks. The room goes still. She lowers the violin, mortified. St. Clair's voice is a gentle hammer. Again! Kendra breathes deep, starts over. This time the tone blooms. She pours eviction anger into every vibrato, house keys jangling in pocket like percussion. When she ends, the room bursts into spontaneous applause, musicians banging music stands. Jordan yells from the tech table, "Donations, Spike!" Someone just bought all unsold balcony seats. The ticker flips past $300,000, enough for her mortgage and then some. Comments scroll in. We'll rebuild with you. Wyatt watches the rehearsal feed on a hacked link, fury carving lines into his face. The fixer calls. Inspectors push condemnation hearing to tomorrow morning. Should derail her prep, he says. Wyatt growls. If that fails, we ruin the concert. Fire code, noise permits. Find something. 36:05:11 on the clock. Kendra appears before housing court, violin in hand like legal exhibit A. She argues, presents prior clearance docs, neighbor affidavits. The judge frowns at forged mold photos. Thank you, Jordan, for metadata sleuthing. Verdict. Condemnation lifted pending full review. Temporary stay granted. The fixer's plan fractures. News breaks. Sympathy surges. Balcony seats sell out twice. Virtual packages add another 150,000 K. Kendra breathes easier, then sees a news crawl. Wyatt Holdings under formal SEC investigation for media manipulation. She texts Saint, Claire. Your move, maestro. Dress rehearsal evening. Stage lights cut through dust motes in Madison Playhouse. Every seat will be filled. Kendra walks the empty aisles touching velvet backs. She stops center stage, raises the violin, and lets a single note ring. Testing the hall, testing herself. It sails clean, steady, true. Backstage, she finds a courier envelope slid under the door. Wyatt's final offer, $5 million settlement. Accept before curtain or lose everything. She laughs, astonished at his tone-deaf timing, and feeds the papers into a stagehand shredder. The hiss of sliced contract sounds like applause. Countdown reads 22, 47, 3. Jordan posts one last teaser clip. Kendra in silhouette against house lights, bow poised. Caption, tomorrow, music louder than money. Overnight, hashtags flip again. Future strings against silence. Wyatt sees it trend while CNBC airs footage of SEC agents entering his headquarters. Cameras catch him ducking a side door. Meme accounts splice the clip with violin screech sound effects. His empire wobbles. Dawn of concert day. Kendra's house stands under sunrise. Orange poster gone. Neighbors hanging fairy lights across the porch. A guerrilla celebration. Inside, her mother's photo rests on the mantel, surrounded by ticket stubs Jordan printed for them all. At the theater, musicians tune. Reporters flood the lobby, notepad questions dripping hope instead of cynicism. St. Clair adjusts Kendra's bow hold, whispers, tonight we end the noise with music strong enough to shake glass. Kendra nods. From pocket to chin, violin lifts like armor. She cues the orchestra. A hush falls. House lights dim. The final game begins. Center stage spotlights ignite Madison Playhouse, like sunrise in reverse. Dark house, single beam on Kendra's bowed head. The murmuring crowd hushes. Virtual viewers tick past 2 million. Backstage, a red countdown LED freezes at 00:300, then vanishes. Jordan just text-killed the timer. No clocks tonight. Breathe. Kendra inhales, smells rosin dust and velvet seats, the scent of every dream she packed into this moment. Strings behind her shimmer an expectant D major chord. Maestro Street Claire nods once. Downbeat. Bach floods the hall, clean, architectural, each arpeggio, a column of light. 4 bars in, a squeal slices the monitor mix, feedback engineered from the soundboard. Wyatt's fixer lurks at tech booth. His smirk flickers in console LEDs. Musicians flinch, audience murmurs. Kendra holds tempo, shoulders squared. Jordan sprints, yanks the Rogue XLR cable, hands shaking. Sound snaps back. The saboteur slips into shadows as ushers scan aisles. Bach continues, unbroken. Twitter fires. Sabotage? She plays on. Movement ends. Applause erupts. Kendra nods thanks, but her pulse hammers. One trap dodged. Lights warm to amber. The orchestra eases into the rooftop spiritual. Cellos hum, brass sighs. She channels candlelit memories, mother's lullaby humming through city noise. Halfway in, a pocket of the balcony stands. Wyatt bought critics, predetermined boos. Their jeers echo like ripples of spite. Kendra's bow hand trembles. Maestro catches her eye, mouths, use it. She digs into the strings, vibrato swelling until her melody drowns the heckling in velvet thunder. Other sections rise to meet her, brass flaring like sunrise. The boos shrink under applause rushing in, unstoppable tide. Livestream chat explodes, hashtag play louder. Backstage, the fixer texts Wyatt, Critics overrun. Wyatt, hiding in a limo, replies, cut power. The fixer flips a breaker, stage blacks out, gasps bloom, cameras wobble, generators whir on emergency delay, 8 terrifying seconds of darkness. In that pitch silence, Kendra lifts the acoustic violin chin high and begins pizzicato, solo. Notes fall like raindrops on a tin roof. Audience collectively holds breath, phone flashes fluttering like fireflies. Power slams back, lights blaze. The orchestra re-enters exactly on her cue as if rehearsed. Thunderous cheers bury any remaining jeers. Finally, hush recloaks the hall. St. Clair steps forward, speaks into the charged quiet. World premiere, second shift, composed by Kendra Lewis. She turns, gives a conductor's nod. Kendra raises her bow. Every eviction notice, forged smear, orange condemnation sticker coiled inside elbow tension. First phrase erupts. A raw glissando shrieking like subway brakes at 3 a.m., segueing into syncopated motifs of clinking dishes and late-night orders. Percussionists tap spoons on snare rims. Audience chuckles, then listens harder. Middle section melts into a fragile lullaby. Just solo, violin, and harp. Melody she wrote at her mother's hospice bedside. Tears glisten across row after row. In the wings, Maria, the diner owner, squeezes Arturo's hand. The fry cook sobs openly. Final movement surges from pianissimo to full orchestra crescendo. A sonic image of dawn over a diner window. Gold spilling on stainless steel. Kendra drives bow hair to strands. One actually snaps near the frog, whipping across her cheek. She leans into the break, funnels energy through the remaining hairs. Brass roars, timpani quake, and the last chord detonates into silence so total the hall feels airless. A beat, two. The house erupts. Standing ovation crashes like surf. Curtain call lights strobe. Virtual tip jar ticks 450,000 K. 500,000 K. Mortgage vaporized. Youth music fund secured. Diner scholarship jar tripled. Kendra bows, eyes shimmering. Jordan swings the Steadicam for backstage livestream. Viewers witness Maestro embrace protege, whispering, "You made fiercing." Security drags the fixer toward side doors. Police cuff him for tampering with municipal power lines. Journalists swarm. Footage races across newsrooms. Sabotage foiled, concert triumphs. Outside, Wyatt's limo TV feeds him the ovation. Agents in Navy windbreakers knock on his window, SEC warrants in hand. As the crowd chants, "Kendra! Kendra!" he's escorted out, camera bulbs freezing humiliation like insects in amber. Inside Madison Playhouse, encore chants rattle rafters. Kendra steps forward alone, lifts her mother's refurbished violin, and plays a single clear G. Simple, naked, undeniable. The note arcs overhead, lingers, then fades into a hush, thick with changed hearts. People don't cheer right away. Many just breathe, some weep. Then applause again. Louder, longer, reverent as cathedral bells. Backstage, St. Clair signals Jordan. They watch donation ticker crest $600,000. Jordan whispers, "House saved, neighborhood music center funded for 5 years." Kendra collapses into a chair, bow across knees. For the first time in months, she lets exhaustion surface. Shoulders shaking, not from fear, but from release. St. Clair kneels. "Tonight you didn't just win, you rewrote what winning sounds like." Kendra glances towards stage door light, bleeding under the curtain. Audience still chanting. "Let them chant," the maestro says, smiling. "They're chanting hope." A hush settles over Madison Playhouse long after the last encore dies. Stagehands coil cables, ushers sweep stubs from velvet aisles, and somewhere in the balcony, a single program lies open. Kendra's name circled in pencil, underlined twice. Outside, a bright half moon hangs like a spotlight no curtain can dim. Kendra steps onto the loading dock, violin in one hand, Arturo's bow in the other. Night air tastes of hot dog carts and distant traffic, but beneath it pulses something new. Possibility thrumming like a low C across the city. She pulls her phone. The donation tally has frozen at $824,000. Rent gone, house saved, community center fully funded. The number flickers once more, an anonymous $50,000 add-on, then locks. She exhales a laugh that feels lighter than sound. Down the ramp, a knot of kids waits, Harlem prep students she coached, still in orchestra hoodies, eyes glowing. The tallest holds up a battered flyer she once handed out on a subway platform. Free chess and music lessons. Find your voice. He grins. Guess we found ours. They hoist handmade signs. Talent belongs everywhere. Cameras flash, but Kendra sees only their wide-open futures and feels a warmth her mother would have called blessing. Inside a courthouse 20 blocks south, Reginald Wyatt signs his own future away. Securities fraud plea. $40 million in fines, lifetime market ban, a public statement of contrition the size of a novella. Reporters jostle as he exits. No limo this time, just a lonely shuffle through Klieg lights and shouted questions. His smirk traded for the stunned look of a king tipped over mid-game. News vans race uptown, but viewers are already locked on a different feed. Jordan's post-show stream from the Playhouse lobby. He swings the lens toward Arturo, Maria, the fry cook, all beaming like family at a graduation. Comment hearts blur. Someone types, "I just picked up my dusty violin." Another, "Applied to Juilliard tonight." A third, "Ready to fight my own Wyatt tomorrow." The chat scrolls so fast the words become a river of resolve. Kendra watches from the sidelines, tears drying clear. She thinks of every tray she balanced, every condescending snap of fingers, every night she tightened the screws on a leaky faucet in a house the bank kept threatening to take. All those moments weren't wasted. They were notes, and tonight the symphony finally played them. A soft chime. Text from Maestro Street Claire. Board-approved full-season soloist contract, and Juilliard wants you to guest lecture on courage. Kendra smiles, thumbs a quick yes, and the kids come too. 3 dots appear, then, always. Toward dawn, she returns to the porch that inspectors tried to condemn. Fairy lights still glitter over chipped paint. Neighbors left cupcakes, flowers, a stack of thank you cards. She sits on the stoop, barefoot, lets cool wood steady her racing mind. Across the street, Mrs. Hawthorne opens a window. "The city feels different," she calls. Kendra nods. "Maybe we all just listened harder tonight." She lifts the violin one last time, draws a lullaby meant only for the dawn. Notes drift through maples, over row houses, into alleys where night shift cooks trudge home. A bus driver slows, window down, catching the final phrase before pulling off with a quiet toot of his horn. Music travels effortlessly, no visas, no mortgages. It simply goes. As the sun rims the horizon, Jordan's final upload hits. A slow-motion montage, Kendra's bow hair snapping, power cutting out, the audience lighting her with phone flash, Wyatt's fixer in cuffs, and the single pure G that closed the night. Over it, he places a line from her new piece. "When the world goes dark, play anyway. Your note might be the spark." The video racks views faster than any smear ever did. Voiceover turns soft, almost conspiratorial, as if speaking directly to the one person hiding their dream because someone richer or louder told them to shrink. Maybe you were that busser, that night shift nurse, that overworked mom humming melodies no one heard. Maybe someone told you talent doesn't pay bills, that art is a hobby, that pawns never reach the other side. But the board is bigger than they admit, and pawns move forward by rule. One square, then another, until promotion is not a miracle, but simple consequence. If a gatekeeper ever mocked your gift, share your story in the comments. We'll applaud each square you cross. And if you believe hidden talent deserves a stage, tap like so the algorithm amplifies every quiet genius still wiping tables tonight. Because music remembers, courage resonates, and the smallest note, played honest, can shake glass towers to their foundations. The camera pulls wide. Sunrise painting, brick facades gold. Kendra's silhouette framed against a doorway, no longer marked for demolition. Bow poised midair. She lowers it slowly, eyes closed, smile soft. The screen fades, but the final chord keeps ringing. Inside headphones, inside crowded subways, inside boardrooms where new Wyatts wait to be outplayed. End screen rolls. Fund a kid's first instrument. Link below. A quiet invitation, but thousands click before the first hour passes. So the story ends the way all true music does. Not with silence, but with the listener's next breath, ready to sing.